Hi guys. So I want to talk to you guys about the situation. I made some notes over the past few days. That was actually the first time that he's ever heard himself on a recording, because as I told you guys before, previously when I recorded him, he would just like refuse to listen to recordings. And I think that when he heard himself on that call, it really sunk in how much of an asshole he is. So as of today, though, I have access to all of my accounts and finances again. He's not here. He's getting help. And I'm seeking legal and emotional counsel. I've been on a 3 to 5 hour schedule for so long. Sleeping, I mean. I don't even know what to do with that much sleep anymore. I just don't feel like I have to turn down invites to camp and stuff now, or like the girls' trip, because it's not good. It's not good use of time. Could be home getting more conversions and money. I can actually feel like I can have friends again. And I don't have to wear cleavage every day. I can wear clothes. Master has given Dobby a sock. Dobby is free.
This footage provided a sense of closure to what happened. However, other details emerged which raised issues about the story she told. A short while after this drama, a Reddit post was titled, "What's going on with Amaranth after the drama surrounding the reveal of her husband?" And the poster explained, a few months ago, this whole thing happened where people basically thought her secret husband was forcing her to do the hot tub streams she always seemed to be doing. She was crying on camera, telling viewers she wanted to leave him, but couldn't because he controlled her finances. I think I remember she was doing a stream soon afterwards showing off her horses, saying the husband had apologized and was now allowing her to stream what she wanted. Like a month ago, I saw her popping up on Twitch again doing the same hot tub stream thing she's been doing for a while. So what happened? Is she voluntarily doing the bikini streams again, or is there something more sinister going on? And the most popular answer to this question was, we don't know anything about what is happening behind the scenes. After her comeback stream where she said her husband was getting help and she has all her bank accounts back, she tweeted that she's taking a break, but it was only a day or two, which was odd to me. She's still streaming long hours, but she's been playing a lot of Overwatch and doing IRL streams of her dates and other stuff with her animals alongside hot tub streams. People were criticizing her for still doing them, so she posted her stream hours per category on Twitter. I just hope she's doing what she likes to do. But this proved that there was a part of her that genuinely liked doing this content, or at the very least, had no problem doing it. Amaranth actually responded to this criticism that her content really hasn't changed.
I think it definitely has, though, because if you look at Kick, it's like I'm rarely ever doing pool stuff or whatever. It's not nearly as try hard to like convert people to OF in that way. But I guess like for people to think that, oh, just because I might go back to bikini or continue OF or whatever means that it's all fake. Like, no, that just means that despite my ideal situation, what I would like to succeed in content, at the end of the day, you have to be realistic. It's a male-dominated space. Mm-hmm. And if you've built up an audience of male viewers, it's understandable. They'd rather watch girls in bikinis rather than the opposite. And so, yeah, the business model doesn't really work anymore, but it doesn't mean that that the whole situation is fake. That's just more of a coming to grips with reality and an understanding that's like, well, it's called work for a reason.
And this conversation then turned to her now, quote-unquote, ex-husband.
So this is back in October 2022. XQC was banning viewers who called your split from your husband a publicity stunt. Mm-hmm. Did you expect to get, the level of support that you did from the community? Because I know that it was obviously a difficult time for you.
Right.
But it did seem like a lot of people rallied around you at the same time.
Yeah, I was really surprised about that. It was very, I guess, heartwarming when I saw XQC defending me, because no, he's also had his issues with personal matters.
Yeah.
And how a lot of it can be, I guess, rumored about online by just a bunch of chatters, and a lot of gossip and misinformation goes around, and people just like to make their own assumptions. So I think we have a lot in common there. But yeah, I was pretty surprised by, just how much my friends online were willing to stand up for me. It was cool.
So Amaranth had moved on from her husband, at least she wanted us to know, which at best was a very toxic relationship. However, in March of 2025, we were provided with yet another incident that would call into question the story we had just been told. The more worrying development was that Amaranth's life was now in danger. On March 3rd, 2025, 4 masked men broke into Amaranth's home. Instead of going after her cars or jewelry, they had a very specific asset that they wanted, her crypto wallet. They went upstairs towards her bedroom and noticed that the door was locked.
Bust the lock. Bust the lock. Bust the locks. Here. Here. Nigga, we're already in. Look, there's a camera right there. We're already in. Just do it. Go. Listen. This ain't go. Just get it. We got a problem. Keep the door.
With her life now in danger, Amaranth guided the men to where the crypto wallet was supposedly stashed.
Oh, stop playing! No, it's across the way! Stop playing! It's across the way! Go! Okay, let's go! Oh, in here. It's in here. I'm so tired. Come on. Go. Hurry up.
Amaranth cleverly lured these men to a part of her house where she knew someone else was and had access to a firearm. The person who saved her that night was Nick Lee.
What's up, Amaranth's husband? Nice to meet you.
Hi, how's it going?
You're a real warrior. You're a good husband, man. You know, you were brave that night. Good.
You know, everyone says that, but really, I credit her with saving both of our lives because, like, look, put myself in her shoes. I don't know if I'd be clear thinking enough to stay calm and to, formulate a plan and to basically lead them to where, someone might have a firearm or who can help.
So this incident raised a number of serious questions. Why was the person who supposedly held her captive still living in her house? And why was she still married to him? And was any of this even real? This didn't completely debunk the narrative that he was ever abusive towards her, but it did show that he was willing to risk his own life to save her. And overcoming this incident strengthened their relationship, but only for a very short period. In May, the couple famously had a 10-hour-long fight on stream. This led Patrick Ceci to come to a highly likely conclusion about whether all of their fights were real or fake.
However, it seems like it could be something in the middle. Like, maybe they do have this toxic relationship, but they are both consenting to it being live streamed since they both see the financial gain of it. Like a twisted justification of like, hey, if we're gonna fight, we might as well get paid for it.
But the overriding question is, who exactly is Nick Lee? So far, we've only seen him as either a villain or, in the case of the robbery, a hero. In July of 2025, Nick Lee was interviewed by Just Pearly Things where he gave a full breakdown on his side of the story. The first thing that was addressed was whether or not all this drama was staged.
Everyone's saying this is staged.
Absolutely not. I know this is hard to believe, but we have never staged any drama. Like, all the dysfunction is perfectly real.
Really?
I wish, honestly, yeah. Like, so I'm just going to say this because, like, I've wanted to say it for a bit, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's like the 2022 drama, right, where she kind of had this thing and I was calling her, right? Like, I mean, look, the words I was saying was absolutely true, but I got kind of like a surprise that, like, kind of how far she took it. Like, I yell at her, she yells at me. Mm-hmm. I always assume that if you can't dish it, then, you shouldn't do it either, right? Mm-hmm. And like the biggest thing that used to get me was like she would play this game where we'd be arguing at room temperature voices, right? And then she would start raising her voice and then drowning me out. And then I'd raise my voice and she'd raise her voice and I'd raise my voice, generally to match. And then at a certain decibel, she would say, "Why are you yelling at me?" It got me every time.
So if this wasn't all staged, which of the details about them were true? Nick Lee soon addressed the allegations that he controlled what she wore.
I've actually never asked her to wear skimpier clothing ever. Like that whole Dobby is free thing, the Harry Potter reference that she says, mm-hmm. because now she can wear shirts without cleavage. The funniest part of that is I have never asked her to dress skimpier. In fact, the only thing I've ever asked her to is not dress as skimpy. Like, it was totally the opposite of what reality was for that particular claim, right?
Then he addressed the allegation that he was financially controlling her.
The other thing is that like I've never financially controlled her. Like literally for the entire time we've been together, which is like 10 years, which is kind of nuts. Every bank account we have, she's either primary account holder or joint primary. I cannot, like if she went right now, like at this minute to the bank and, you know, move $2 million, I could not, they're not even going to call me. Like I can't stop that.
And instead of him controlling her, he explained that they were merely the co-owners of a very lucrative business.
That she had a business at the time that did party planning. And I was basically the one who kind of accidentally figured out that in those days, 2014 and 2015, Facebook advertising was such a good deal. No one believed in Facebook advertising. So to compete, you know, Zuckerberg lowered the price to such a low CPM that I remember for a brief period of time, you could literally advertise your YouTube channel, get more from ad revenues than you were spending on Facebook, right? And so there was like this perpetual motion machine briefly, ever so briefly. And so we used that to like make her party planning business, you know, go from like a startup to 6 figures. And then I stopped and I said, wait a minute, like, I feel like we're taking too many steps to do this thing because our only edge is we're good at social media. So why are we running a party planning company? Like, you know, we're able to market it very well, but we should probably do influencer stuff. Mm-hmm. And at the moment in time, I had more followers than her on Instagram, right? I don't even have that Instagram anymore. I deactivated it. And I remember thinking, like, this is weird. Like, I'm a guy, right? And she's a hot girl who does cosplay in 2014. Like, how do I have more followers than her? And I, you know, checked out her page and I was like, oh, she's doing all this wrong. Like you gotta like, and that, so then we kind of, you know, we're newly married at the time. And so we hatched this plan where
there was an element of risk to Amaranth starting an influencer career, but Nick Lee had a steady job that allowed her to live rent-free and pursue this career.
And at that point in time, I was a sole breadwinner, right? I had a nice, cushy white-collar engineering job, and, you know, I bought a house, and so she just lived at home, you know, rent-free, obviously, and then just kind of like, she could fill her day with whatever she wanted to, and I went to work, you know, roughly 9 to 6 p.m.
The most interesting comment came later on in the video where Nick Lee admitted that streaming was a huge part of the problem.
Here's the sad part, right? I am almost 100% certain that if we quit this online career, that it would be fine. It's the need to get a story out, to talk to all of her fans and make sure they don't think a certain way of her. She won't ever admit it, but like, it affects a person. This fight would not have happened if she wasn't like intent on streaming it, right?
So this is merely Nick's side of the story. But in early 2026, they traveled to Peru and did a couples therapy session together on stream with Ice Poseidon because whilst Amaranth has all but nearly quit streaming due to her declining relevance, which is why many people felt that the incident of the robbery was just used to drum up more attention, Nick Lee has been actively pursuing a career as a kick streamer for at least the past 6 to 9 months. And we got to see both of them agree and disagree on who was behind the business empire that they built.
If I was in her position, I would be very upset and resentful towards you because I would feel like that I earned this money. I'm the one who was out on stream every day, 15 hours a day streaming. Yes, you're the one who built the wealth, but she was the one who got the initial money.
Change your opinion if I tell you that like every single social media post she's ever made is just me drafting
Well, initially, not lately.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about, you know, a social media post versus 15 hours a day on stream.
Right, having to
but there was a time when
people constantly dance.
So 15 hours was like when you had a kick deal or like during the height of the hot tub meta. Like we're talking like there were years when your Instagram was gaining 15,000 followers a day.
Right, but it's still
and that was engineered.
It's less physical labor though to sit at a desk, not caring how you look, gaining weight, eating whatever.
So her Twitter had like a couple 100,000 followers. In 1 year, I brought it to 3.6 mil organically. And like, it sounds so stupid how I did it. What I did was it's like the most, I made a spreadsheet of all the girls who were e-girls. And I figured out who's growing fastest. And then I figured out why they were growing faster. And then I applied that to our own thing. Within a year, 3.3 million followers.
Here, Amaranth agrees that Nick basically built her entire career.
Would you agree that Nick helped build your platform?
But it was not physically demanding.
Do you think you would be where you're at without Nick?
No.
So you agree that he's done a ton to help you make all this money. So that makes it more equalized now. But at the same time, to me it seems like as it should be more equalized, it still seems like Nick has more of a say here instead of it being equal.
Yes.
Well, yeah, you're a giant, but if you got to stop being a, but you're scared.
I am.
Why are you so scared?
Because of the years of yelling.
What's he gonna do? He's not gonna murder you.
Then, Lee explained his desire to start his own streaming career. Amaranth wants to retire and live on a farm and look after horses. Nick, meanwhile, is a highly driven person and wants to pursue his own career in streaming.
Like, my thing is that I don't like being idle. It's not about, like, at her expense. No, it's at my own expense. It's just I spent 7 years investing in a very particular way of building a skill set that only works if there's an influencer involved.
Right.
And so then now this is me saying, you know what, that I'm gonna do both. And so and then somehow still I'm being a narcissist, I guess, because I'm now like doing both ends of the job.
And Ice Poseidon explains that he is more specifically a covert narcissist, which is something that Ice Poseidon has been accused multiple times of being himself.
No, you're not a narcissist, you're a covert narcissist, which means you're hiding. You're like hiding your intentions, kind of. Okay. Like you're very emotionally disconnected, I think, and you are putting other things above what would be more important in the relationship for, your gain or for your own happiness, which is what like a covert narcissist would do. Now, if you were a malignant narcissist, you'd probably be slapping her, but you're not that.
But despite the fact that they aired out all their grievances, they soon fell into the same vicious cycle not even 24 hours later. So while they look very calm in this stream, the havoc was about to ensue.
I'm holding the laptop! What the f***? You're trying to take
I'm doing what? Let go!
Amaranth claimed that she was using his laptop to book flights. Nick Lee had a much less innocent explanation.
And then you took my laptop and you navigated to my kick page. You navigated to my laptop.
That doesn't matter. You tell me.
She said she was booking a flight. She said she was booking a flight, and then she's on my Kick profile.
Flight, yes.
Well, so why don't you book that first before you go to my Kick profile?
Amaranth was allegedly trying to edit or even delete his Kick profile or put something in his title that would potentially get him banned. Then accusations of infidelity surfaced, and this was Nick Lee's gotcha moment.
You want to talk about when you gave a blowjob in the parking lot to a guy? Because that was pretty crazy.
Anonymous sent $3.
I would say that's infidelity. How
About your escort emails I have, huh? How about all those?
You mean the ones that you had Jolie write?
No, they're not true.
Did Jolie write one? Did Jolie write one?
No.
Did Jolie write one? Never?
I have your text message.
So you're saying I write off with escorts
I
too?
have on your phone
Dude.
videos going through your phone of you.
It's hilarious. She signed it off sincerely, Nick Lee. That's how I knew.
That was one. But
So you did one. So you made a fake one. Got it. Oh, so Jolie did. So she did. So your assistant made a fake email.
Someone responded to you because you all your.
Really? Boom! Got it. I told you guys. I leave my laptop around. Clearly, I shouldn't.
No.
People get on it like she's doing it now. You were gonna get some more emails now. That's what you're doing, huh? That's why you hold my laptop so tightly.
I came to you.
Now I know why you want my laptop. You want to plant evidence?
No, that's not what happened.
You're exposed.
You already know.
You're exposed.
You're just lying.
Back away from me. You're exposed.
Unfortunately, the day later, Nick Lee would admit that he lied about that whole infidelity moment and said that that was the only thing that he lied about that day. And staff from the hotel got involved during this huge argument.
She just said that I took her passport. I think it's in her bag.
Get it because it's in there.
I think it's in her bag. No, it's open your bag. You have your passport in there. You're lying to me. You're lying. Her passport is in there.
And there was a sense that whoever's side you were on, none of this should have been streamed. But Nick argued that he needed to stream all of this.
Of course she doesn't want me to stream because then she can't do that kind of thing. You know? I mean, y'all have seen it now. She said I might have her passport
And then she said she didn't know if her passport's in her bag. I said it is. She looked in her bag and didn't find it. But unbeknownst to her, I had the camera pan on her face and I saw her look and I knew she found it. That's how I knew to check her bag. Read her like a book, and we can go back and we can review the clip of her literally saying it's not in there. She's trying to retcon it and say she said she didn't see it. Nope, she said it's not in there. She said she emptied it all out and it's not in there. And yet, she had it there and she sandwiched it between her makeup and her other thing to try and just not let me see it and show it to chat. You saw, like a compulsive liar who writes emails from my email and then blames me, then hides her passport and then blames me. You trust her? I bet you she put it in one of my bags, and we're gonna go, and she's gonna go straight to it. Now we're giving the plot, so she's gonna pretend to look around. I bet if we let her go, she'd go straight to my bag where she planted it, and then be right here.
In the aftermath, Mizkif, who had been known to collaborate a lot with Amaranth, to which Nick Lee said all of the messages between Amaranth and Mizkif, outside of in person, of course, was him talking to Nick Lee. Mizkif would give his response.
This is not fake. I'm letting you know this is not fake. You can't think everything is fake, bro. This is not fake.
And Asmongold spoke about the dangerous path they were going down by staying together.
It's so weird, bro. It is so weird. I don't know what this is. Amaranth and her husband have been detained and taken to a local police station in Peru after they spent the last 2 hours arguing in a hotel room. I'm going to be honest, guys. Based Peru. Like, listen, I've always liked Amaranth, but like these weird arguments that she's having with her husband, I mean, eventually somebody's gonna die. It's gonna happen. Somebody's either gonna die or they're gonna end up in jail, because I've seen this happen. And every single person like this, there is the escalation, and the escalation begins and it's small and it gets worse and worse and worse. People say that it's fake. I don't know whether it's fake or not. I mean, if they're getting involved with the police, I feel like you're getting a little bit, you're flying a little bit too close to the sun here, aren't we? Like, I would say that you are. So are these actual arguments? They're really stupid, so they might be. And so, not the people. I think both of them are intelligent, but the arguments and the topic of them are stupid. And TLDR, I honestly don't care. I don't give a shit. Is this the husband that was abusing her a few years ago? They both IRL stream now and have exposed themselves as legitimate nut jobs. You can tell it's a business relationship. They can't stand to be together for more than a day. I honestly think that they're that kind of crazy where they both know that there's no one else on the planet that could tolerate or understand each other, so they stay together. That's right. Yes. It's just basically,
Nick Lee actually responded to Asmongold on stream.
I mean, I don't think I'm at risk of escalating. I just don't think that's a thing. I think I've been through far worse than this. And if Asmon thinks this is an escalation, he ain't seen the, prequel trilogy. This is not worse than 2022. This is not worse than May of last year. This is a de-escalation. It's just a particularly good run of script that my writers came up with, okay? Don't worry, next week we'll resume being non-tint.
But Asmongold also made a very important point. Very few people would put up with this level of toxicity from either spouse. So, in a sense, they are perfect for one another.
I don't even know what to say. Wow, who would have guessed? Yeah, they know that they're nuts. And so, but they can't deal with each other, but they also know nobody else would even try to deal with them.
Nick Lee has continued to go through his streaming adventures in Peru and then later on the Amazon with his wife by his side. But it seems like if streaming got between them this many times, and it's only since Nick Lee has been streaming for less than a year, as far as I've been able to gather, he was probably better off behind the scenes. And perhaps Kate, or in this case Amaranth, she didn't expect this to happen and just wanted to spend more time with him. And her doing that whole career and with a happily ever after in mind turned into her husband now taking the reins and following on his own. The difference is, though, that Nick Lee, when he got with Amaranth, he admitted that he already had a $400,000 home. He already had a very successful career. And he would have been on his way to making at least a several $1,000,000 net worth by his mid-30s, which I assume is his age right now, maybe late 30s. He admits that he would have never been able to touch the $100 million plus net worth that him and his wife are at currently, with all of the investments that he handles, including gas stations and a bunch of other things. But the narrative surrounding him just being somebody that attached to her and leached is not all the way accurate. However, I am willing to bet that the likelihood that these two get divorced is almost zero, at least for the next 3 years. Nick Lee knows that this makes for great content, and they've just been attached at the hip every single day for years.